When you talk to an AI, do you ever wonder if you're doing it the right way? Well, it turns out that how you ask for something can literally change everything an AI is capable of. Today, we're diving deep into the incredible power of the prompt.
So here's the big question, right? How do you get an AI to stop just spitting out answers and to actually think, to really reason its way through a problem? That's the puzzle we're going to solve today. Let's jump in. All right, before we go any further, let's set the scene. We got to get our terms straight. You've heard all these buzzwords flying around, AI, Gen AI, LLMs, so let's quickly make sure we're all on the same page. Okay, so think of generative AI as the giant overarching category. It's the big umbrella for any AI that actually makes stuff. We're not talking about just crunching numbers. We're talking about creating brand new things. Images, music, text, you name it. It's the whole creative universe. Now, under that big Gen AI umbrella, there's a really special kind of tool, and that's the large language model, or LLM for short. You've definitely heard of these. We're talking GPT-4, Claude, that sort of thing. They are the language specialists. They've been trained on just an insane amount of text, making them absolute masters of understanding and writing like a human. So here's the easiest way to think about it. LLMs, they're laser-focused on text. Generative AI, that's the whole shebang. Images, audio, video, code, all of it. So yeah, every LLM is a form of generative AI, but not all Gen AI is an LLM. Simple as that.
Okay, so these LLMs are incredibly powerful, right? But how do we actually talk to them? How do we get them to do what we want? Well, it all comes down to one thing, the prompt.
So what is a prompt, really? You can think of it as the instruction we give to the AI. But here's the key. It's not just a simple question. A good prompt, a great prompt, is more like a detailed set of directions. It's a guide that tells the AI precisely what you're looking for, and that's how you get an amazing result. And this brings us to that old school rule from computer science that has never been more relevant. Garbage in, garbage out. It is so true here. The quality of what you get out of the AI is 100% dependent on the quality of the prompt you put in. Let me show you what I mean. Look at this. If you give a weak prompt like, write about dogs, what is the AI supposed to do with that? It's so vague. But now look at the strong prompt. It gives a topic, a tone, heartwarming, a specific plot, and even an audience, kids under 10. See the difference? You're not just asking a question anymore. You're basically directing a creative partner. Okay, this is where things get really, really interesting. Truly mind-blowing. What if I told you that a tiny little change to your prompt could do way more than just get you a better story about a dog? What if it could unlock an entirely new skill in the AI? An ability it didn't seem to have before, something like the power to reason. So to see this in action, researchers set up a challenge. They gave a large language model a pretty basic math word problem. Now, you should know, this kind of multi-step problem has historically been a huge Achilles heel for these models. It's tough for them because they have to, hold information in their head and do things in the right order. So first, they tried the normal approach. They just asked for the answer straight up. And the model got it wrong, flat out wrong. It looks like it just kind of grabbed a couple of numbers, added them together, and totally ignored the subtraction step. It failed.
So what went wrong here? Well, the AI basically tried to sprint to the finish line. It took a shortcut. Instead of thinking through the steps, it just jumped straight from the question to what it thought was the answer. And, well, that's just not how logic works, is it?
But then, the researchers tried something else, a tiny change. They added one simple little phrase to their prompt. All they said was, let's think step by step. And what happened next was just incredible. The model actually laid out its logic, piece by piece, step by step, and it got the answer right. Perfectly right. Think about that. That one tiny phrase completely flipped the result. By nudging it to create what's called a chain of thought, the model suddenly knew exactly how to solve the problem. This wasn't just a small improvement, this was a massive breakthrough. So what is actually going on here? Is this some kind of magic trick? Nope. It's a specific technique, and it's called chain of thought prompting. And it fundamentally changes the way the AI approaches a problem. And why does it work so well? Well, for one, it forces the AI to decompose a big, complex problem into smaller, bite-sized steps. It's like telling it not to rush. And for us, it's amazing because we get a window into its thought process. We can literally watch it think, which means we can even debug it if it goes off the rails. This is an absolute game changer for anything involving reasoning.
Okay, but here comes the catch, and this is probably the most fascinating part of this whole story. This amazing technique, it doesn't work on just any AI. What the researchers discovered is that this kind of reasoning is what they call an emergent ability. That's a fancy way of saying nobody programmed it in. It wasn't designed. It just shows up. It emerges, kind of like a light bulb switching on, but only after a model reaches a certain size and complexity.
And it turns out there's a threshold. The magic number seems to be right around 100 billion parameters. You can think of parameters as all the little connections in the AI's brain. If a model has fewer than that, and you try this chain of thought trick, it actually makes the model worse. It'll spit out a bunch of gibberish that just sounds logical but is totally wrong.
So the crucial point here is absolutely wild. This ability to reason isn't something that was explicitly built. It's a hidden potential that just emerges when two things come together. Massive, massive scale, and, you guessed it, being prompted in just the right way.
So let's wrap this up. What does this all tell us about where AI is headed?
Here's the single most important thing to take away from all this. The way we communicate with AI is every bit as important as the underlying technology itself. A good prompt isn't just about getting a better answer. It can literally be the key that unlocks brand new abilities that were hiding inside the model all along.
And that leaves us with a pretty mind-bending question to think about, doesn't it? If one simple phrase, "let's think step by step," can suddenly unlock AI reasoning, what other incredible abilities are just sitting there, dormant, waiting for someone, maybe even you, to ask the right question?